What's up, guys? Chris over here at Cover 7. Just real quick, I want to say thank you to everybody for the support, the likes, the comments. I've met a lot of great people. It goes a long ways on a very small channel like mine, so much appreciated. Also, how'd my weekend go betting? Actually, pretty damn good. Made 6 units this weekend, so a lot of good football, a couple big upsets. But we'll get into it here. Oklahoma catching 3.5 currently. This is an early line versus Texas. The over-under set to 56.5. So usually how I do these, guys, I try to keep this video as short as possible. I'll talk about Oklahoma. I'll talk a little bit about Texas, and then give my unbiased opinion at the end on who I'm betting on. With that said, let's get into Oklahoma. One of the most interesting teams in the country, and maybe a surprise team for most people here. They started the season off with a win against Illinois State. They beat Michigan at home, and that was a very good football game. It was kind of back and forth for a while. Oklahoma clearly pulled that one out 24-13. Wins over Temple. They beat Auburn in a close one 24-17 a couple weeks ago. And then this previous weekend, they beat the shit out of Kent State, which is obviously not a very big team, not a very good team. The big question mark in this game, though, everybody's talking about it, and one of my favorite players in the country, John Mateer. Is he going to play? My guess would be probably not with that broken hand that he hurt against Auburn. So how does this play out? Who's the backup, right, for Oklahoma? It's Michael Hawkins. Now, this kid's played a little bit. We've seen some action from him last year. He's got a really good set of wheels. I don't know how good he is throwing the ball. I'm not going to say he's terrible. I'm not going to put him up there with the Carson Becks of the world either, but we'll see how he does in this one. Like I said, played against Kent State, played all right. It's hard to take anything from Kent State being a bad team. Oklahoma could have put up 100 in that game if they wanted to. They obviously chose not to because obviously they're probably looking at this game against Texas. This is a big-time, old-school rivalry game here. I've been around for 40 years now. I've watched football for almost 35, and this rivalry dates back to when I was just a little kid. And it's been going on for longer than that. With that being said, rushing, Oklahoma really struggles to run the football, which is kind of concerning, especially with Mateer probably not playing. He was a big part of that rushing offense. Look, I don't know what's going on with Jay Knott, and I know they got the Blaylock kid back there, but the average yards per carry between the two is right around 4. That's not great. I know it's not terrible, but they got to get that offensive running game going for Oklahoma. They do. You cannot become one-dimensional. Texas does have a pretty good run defense. Now, they got chewed up on the ground last week here, and I'll talk about that against Florida real quickly, but I've been kind of harping on Oklahoma about running the ball outside of Mateer or even Hawkins. Hawkins is going to have to run the ball here, honestly. Like I said, not an elite level thrower of the football. He can move, though, and make some plays with his legs. The receivers, these guys, I've been talking about Oklahoma's receivers. Deion Burks is a dog. Love the kid. They got the Isaiah, is it Santiago? He's had a big year so far. What is it, Keontae Lewis? I know he might be banged up or hurt. I saw some news on him. Little concerning if you're Oklahoma, pretty banged up coming into this game, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, Oklahoma in Venables has got this thing figured out finally. This defense looks really, really good. I've been saying they're probably one of the biggest surprises as far as defensive units in the country, in my opinion, so far in this college football season. They've been great up there with Miami. Just some of the teams like that. Bama's got a fairly decent defense as well at times. But, man, Oklahoma's looks really good. One of the best defenses in the SEC. Might be one of the best defenses in the country. So we'll see how that goes. Now, with that being said, let's go on over to the other side of the football here in Texas. Look, I didn't say much about this yesterday. Now, I did take Florida, sprinkled a little bit on the money line, which was all fine and dandy. But I watched a majority of this game, and Arch Manning looks like he doesn't want to play football, and I'm not trying to be mean here. Again, this is an unbiased opinion. I don't like Oklahoma, and I don't like Texas, and whatever. I just don't understand what's going on with Texas offensively as a whole, nor Arch Manning. I gave him a pass the first couple weeks of the season. There's a lot of pressure on this kid. This pressure wasn't put on him by himself. This was put on by idiots on the internet like me, the media, other teams, players, coaches, you name it, everybody, because of his last name, right? I'll be honest with you. After what I saw yesterday, I don't know. He might not be any good. I don't want to be mean when I say that, but he looks. How do you want to word this? Like, without shitting on the kid, but shitting on the kid, like, he looks like he doesn't want to be there. Like the moment is way too big for him. I know a lot of people when he was coming out of high school talked about the lack of competition he played. He played at some private school where the Mannings all went and all that. And, a lot of people said that's not going to translate, very well to college football at this level, right, at Texas. I don't know if that's true or not. You guys can let me know down in the comments. I will say this about Arch Manning, though. There was a reason why Quinn Ewers started ahead of him the past couple of years. I know there was a lot of talk behind the scenes that Arch Manning should be the starter last year and the year before and all that. Now, he did get some significant playing time, obviously, because Ewers had an injury bug. It seemed like every other game, but there was a reason why Quinn Ewers started. I will say that. Now, let's talk about Texas. Offensively, it's been god-awful, in my opinion. Now, I didn't put a lot of stock into the Ohio State game week 1, which everybody talks about, which feels like a million years ago now. Ohio State's defense is unbelievable. It's probably the best in the country, if not second. So then they go play San Jose State. They blow them out. UTEP, terrible team. They beat Sam Houston 55-0, whatever. Then you played Florida. Now, Florida does have a really good defense. I've been saying that the past couple of weeks. That's the only thing keeping Billy Napier's job afloat, right, up until yesterday. And I don't know what happened in this game. I was really shocked that on the other side of the ball for Texas, I thought Texas had a good defense. I have no idea what happened. I mean, DJ Lagway carved him up, dude. The Wilson kid carved him up. I was shocked there. I knew this game would be low scoring, the Texas-Florida game. I didn't know it was going to end up like this, where Texas looked terrible on defense, and I was shocked. I know the Swamp is not an easy place to play. I get all that, but very, very shocked in that game. And the run game for Texas is non-existent. It's I don't know what's going on. Arch Manning is their leading rusher on the year with 160 yards. Gibson can't get the ball going on the ground. They got Simon, Clark. They got like 4 or 5 backs back there. I said that last week about Texas is like they're going through this carousel of running backs. I hate to say this, maybe none of them are any good. I don't know. Some of this is on the O-line as well. I'm not placing all the blame on the running backs either. It just looks bad. I don't know what's going on. I'm really shocked, I guess. This whole me rambling on about Texas and how bad the offense is. I don't know what Sarkisian's doing. I have no idea. Texas has some of the best athletes in the country, some of the best recruits in the country. They do well in the transfer portal. Like, it's one of the premier places to play in college football, and their offense looks horrible. It's really shocking to me, to be completely honest. Defensively, I said it just a minute ago, alluded to it. I think they have a good defensive unit, but Florida's offense was terrible up until yesterday. I know Florida has a ton of talent, just like Texas does, but DJ Lagway carved him up yesterday, man. He played really well. I get it. Maybe it was a Lagway get right spot type of thing, but they just looked terrible. The tackling was terrible. I know Florida's got athletes, like I keep saying, but my God, man, it was odd. I thought Florida would be in this game. I thought Texas, though, would have put up more of a fight. I know the score was 29-21, but this game wasn't really close at all. It was a little bit there in the second half, but just very shocked, I guess, as an unbiased fan of both these teams, of Florida and Texas. I was just shocked kind of what happened. I expected Texas to come out and play a lot better. How am I betting this game? Probably the reason why you guys clicked on the video more than anything, instead of listening to me ramble on about nothing. If Mateer plays, and that's a big if, and I don't think he's going to. I don't know why they would put him out there. And by the time this video comes out, maybe he's already ruled out. As of Sunday right now at 12 o'clock, there's a little bit of a chance that he could play. If he plays, I'm taking Oklahoma in the points. If he doesn't play, I'm probably still leaning Oklahoma here. Why? I just don't think Texas is very good this year. I think OU's defense and Texas's lack of offense, they're going to have a hard time scoring in this game. Now, I know this rivalry dates back for years, and anything goes in this one. We've seen it on years where Texas was terrible, Oklahoma was good, there was an upset. We see just the flip side of that as well. We've seen so many years where Texas has been great, Oklahoma's been trash. Oklahoma ends up winning the football game, or it ends up being a close game. Obviously, Vegas thinks this is going to be a very close game. I do too. I don't have a strong lean other than Oklahoma right now currently. The whole Mateer news is going to be big in this, but I doubt he plays. That's, like I said, this is on a Sunday at noon, so I'm leaning Oklahoma here, though, just because their defense, and they've looked like a better team this year. Hawkins is a capable quarterback. He can run just like Mateer can. Not the thrower of the ball, though, that Mateer is. So with that being said, I would even maybe potentially lean an under here as well. Right now, and this may have changed too, is 56.5 is what I saw just on the opening line. So that could have changed, like I said, by the time you guys watch this. But I'd lean an under here probably more than anything. Right now, I would lean Oklahoma. And that's just where I'm at on this game. I wanted to get this video out because there's just so much news. Oklahoma's banged up. Texas has got some injuries. This is a very tough one to bet, in my opinion. I do think Texas probably should be favored considering they just lost. Probably a bounce back spot. It's a rivalry game. I get that. So this game probably will be close. I can't state that enough. So with that being said, guys, sorry for not a ton of information as far as betting goes on this one. I just wanted to get this video out there earlier in the week. So with that being said, guys, I got a ton more coming out this week. I appreciate, again, all the support on the little channel like mine, and we'll see you next time.